Hi everyone, welcome to my channel PM Junction. I am Naved. In today's video, we will be discussing about different type of contracts in procurement management and try to solve some questions as well. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and press the bell notification to get all relevant videos. Three different type of contracts are fixed price contract, cost reimbursable contract, and time and material contract. Fixed price contract is further divided into firm fixed price incentive fee contract, and fixed price with economic price adjustment. Cost reimbursable contracts are divided into cost plus fixed fee, cost plus incentive fee, cost plus award fee, and cost plus percentage of cost. Let us try to understand advantages and disadvantages of each type of contract. Fixed price or lump sum contracts are generally used in construction industry. The major advantages are used when all requirements and scope is clearly defined and you don't expect any change to the scope. It is least risky for the buyer and companies generally have experience with this type of contract. Seller has a strong incentive to control the cost, being the nature of fixed price. The major disadvantages are can be more costly if procurement statement of work is not clearly defined. Seller may try to raise change orders more than the required work if underquoted during the bidding. More time and efforts are required by buyer to write the procurement statement of work. The next contract is cost reimbursable contract. It is generally used in R&D projects. The main advantages are used if the scope of work is uncertain and expected to change significantly during the execution of the contract. Simpler procurement statement of work, less costly compared to fixed price if the scope is uncertain. The main disadvantages are total price or budget is unknown, requires close monitoring and auditing the seller invoices. Scope creep is an inherent drawback. Seller has moderate incentive to control cost. Time and material contract is generally used to hire expert or outside support. Used when hiring personal or subject matter expert or emergency support work of lesser value. This contract can be quickly finalized as procurement statement of work is less detailed. Contract duration is generally short. The main disadvantages are there is a profit for the seller in every hour or unit built. Whether he is performing or not performing, the profit is going on. Seller has no incentive to control the cost. Day-to-day monitoring required from buyer side. Let us try to understand each contract in detail. The first one is firm fixed price. It is the most common and simple type of contract. A fixed total price is set for the project at the time of signing of contract. It is the least risky for the buyer side and changes not expected unless the scope of work is changes. Example is contract value equal to 500,000 US dollar. The next contract is fixed price incentive fee contract, used to motivate the seller to complete the project early, cheaper or with better quality. Price ceiling is set and all cost above is responsibility of the seller. Saving overruns are shared as per the predefined formula. For example, 80-20, 80% for the buyer and 20% for the seller. The contract value is equal to cost plus final incentive fee. Let us try to understand this through an example. The target cost is given $200,000 and the target fee is set $20,000. The total target price will be $220,000 while the sharing ratio is 80-20. 80 is for the buyer and 20 is for the seller, and the total ceiling price is $240,000. That is the maximum value buyer will pay. Now the question is how much the seller shall be getting if the actual cost is $250,000. The first formula is final incentive fee is equal to target fee plus target cost minus actual cost multiplied by the seller share ratio. And the formula for calculating final price is equal to actual cost plus final incentive fee, and that is maximum up to selling price. So first thing is we need to calculate final incentive fee. So the target fee is $20,000, the target cost is $200,000, and the actual cost is $250,000, and multiplied by the seller share, that is 20%. So the final value comes out the $10,000. The next step is to calculate final price, which will be equal to actual cost plus final incentive fee. So the actual cost is $250,000 and the final incentive is $10,000. So the total value comes out $260,000. But this price is above the ceiling price of $240,000. So the final price will be paid, which will be equal to $240,000. Another important term used in fixed price incentive fee contract is point of total assumption. Point of total assumption refers to the amount above which the seller bears all the loss of cost overrun. Before going to the calculation, let us try to understand what is PTA actually from the graph on the right side. The red curve shows the target price and the blue curve shows the cost curve. So the PTA is a point beyond which seller started losing his profit, and when it touches the ceiling price and crosses it, seller started incurring a loss. So PTA is a trigger point for the seller to monitor his actual cost to save his profit. The formula to calculate the PTA is ceiling price minus target price divided by buyer share ratio plus target cost. We will be using the data provided in the above example. So the ceiling price is $240,000 and the target price is $220,000, while the buyer share ratio is 80% and the target cost is $200,000. So that PTA comes out $225,000. So this is a point beyond which the seller will start losing his money. The next contract is fixed price with economic price adjustment. This type of contract is used when the agreement is multi-year or the payments are made in different currencies. Mostly all large EPC contracts fall under this category, whether it is a refinery project or a power project or any other project. It covers the seller risk for inflation changes or the cost increase or decrease of supplies. For example, the contract value may be $500,000 plus price increase will be allowed next year for the increase in commodity cost. There will be a formula agreed between the supplier and the buyer in the contract itself. The next contract is cost plus fixed fee. It is used in high risk projects where bidders are not interested in competing. Cost plus negotiated fee, that is seller profit, is paid. Fixed fee is paid regardless of their performance, and it changes only if a scope changes. So the contract value will be equal to actual cost plus fixed fee. Next contract is cost plus incentive fee contract. This type of contract is used to motivate the seller by providing incentive for achieving certain performance objective as set forth in the contract. Target cost and target fee are determined in the contract. Saving overrun are shared as per the predefined formula. For example, 80-20, 80% by buyer and 20% by seller. So the contract value will be actual cost plus final incentive fee. Through this example, we will try to understand how to calculate final incentive fee and final reimbursed price. The target cost is $200,000, target fee is $10,000, and the sharing ratio is 80 by 20, where 80 is by buyer and 20 is by seller. And the minimum incentive fee is $8,000 and the maximum incentive fee is $11,000. So the first question is, how much the seller shall be reimbursed if the actual cost is $185,000? And the next question is, how much the seller shall be reimbursed if the actual cost is $210,000? So the formula for calculating final incentive fee is target fee plus the difference between target cost and actual cost multiplied by the seller share ratio, and the final reimbursed price equal to actual cost plus final incentive fee. So let's try to calculate first the final incentive fee. So the target fee is $10,000, the target cost is $200,000, and the actual cost is $185,000 multiplied by the seller share ratio, which is 20%. So the final incentive comes out $13,000. But the maximum incentive fee cannot be more than $11,000. So the final reimbursed price will be actual cost plus final incentive fee. So the actual cost is $185,000 plus the final incentive fee is $11,000. So the final reimbursed price will be $196,000. So now we will be performing similar calculations for the second question. So the final incentive fee comes out $8,000. We need to check the incentive with respect to the minimum and maximum incentive allowed. So this value matches with the minimum fee of $8,000, which will be the final incentive fee. So the final reimbursed price will be actual cost plus final incentive fee. So the actual cost is $210,000 plus the final incentive fee is $8,000. So the final reimbursed price will be $218,000. Next contract is cost plus award fee contract. In this contract, cost plus award fee is paid based on performance. Award paid is judged subjectively by the buyer based on seller performance, and it is not subjected to any appeals. There is no possibility of penalty on the seller, and the contract value is equal to actual cost plus award, and the maximum value of award is also fixed in the contract. The major difference between incentive fee and award fee contract is, in incentive fee contract, buyer and seller share the profit and loss, while in award fee contract, seller is not subjected to any penalty, but he may get some award based on his performance. Next contract is cost plus percentage of cost. In this type of contract, buyer pays cost incurred plus a percentage of these costs. Generally, buyer do not prefer this type of contract, as seller may increase the actual cost to increase the fee. It is the least risky for the seller point of view, and it requires close monitoring and controlling of all the invoices by the buyer. The contract value is equal to actual cost plus percentage of the actual cost as a fee. The last type of contract is time and material contract. It is a hybrid contract covering aspects of both fixed price and cost reimbursable contracts. It is used for staff augmentation, acquisition of experts, and any outside support. It is used when detailed procurement of work cannot be quickly made, and the project duration is small and the value is also small. Buyer pays per item or per hour basis and material cost. The contract value is equal to per hour rate into quantity plus material cost or expenses. In this graph, we will try to understand Risk to buyer and seller based on type of contracts. From buyer point of view, fixed price contract is the least risky and the cost plus percentage of cost is the highest risk contract. From seller point of view, fixed price contract is high risk contract and the cost plus percentage of cost contract is the least risky contract. Time and material contract falls in between. You are able to understand different type of contracts, what are their advantages and disadvantages, and in which condition you need to choose which type of contract, and what are the buyer and seller risk exposure. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Thank you.